What I've got for you today is supposed to be an incredibly action-packed match of professional StarCraft 2. It's time for a Zerg versus Zerg, where we find ourselves on Oxide. Spotting here in the bottom left corner with the blue Zerg drones from Poland, we have Elazer. His opponent in the opposite corner, already going for a gas geyser at what seems to be 13 supply. With the red Zerg drones from France, we're looking at Denver's main base. Alrighty, so 13 supply gas geyser into a 12 supply spawning pool. Couple different variations you can go for with this build, but there's no denying that this is one of the most aggressive openers that Zerg players can go for in ZVZ. We'll have to see how much gas he decides to mine. So option A, you can go for a 100 gas mining, right? And then you just start up the zergling speed upgrade. You follow it up with a couple of zerglings, but you also do expand behind this. Or option B, you leave the drones in gas for a little while longer. And you don't just go for the link speed upgrade, but you also go for a baling nest. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, hatchery first right here from Elazer. He's going to send one drone right there to minerals, one to gas, and then one to the spawning pool over here as well. So it's going to be 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 supply spawning pool here from Elazer. Very standard opener from him, but this does mean that he's not going to have a whole lot of tools at his disposal early on to actually defend against these zerglings. Now, once upon a time, hatch first was considered to be an auto loss against the 13-12 opener. I mean, that's a long time ago. These days, these pro gamers are very good. So, by the way, it is going to be the baling nest variant as well. So, link speed into baling nest. Zerglings are running across the map. Can Elazer pick up on the fact that this is gonna be... Ooh, I like this, actually. Alright, I was gonna say, maybe he can pick up on the fact that the timing right here of these Zerglings definitely means that it's a 13-12 and not, for example, a 12 supply spawning pool. Okay, these links will be spotted. Maybe Elazer can still pick up on this. The problem is, if Elazer responds to this as if it's a 12 pool without, like, link speed as a follow-up, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. So if he pulls drones, he's pretty much dead. Okay, so I like this. He does start up 2 queens over here. He does also start up a spine crawler, and I think this is an indication that he's going to give up the natural expo here eventually. He does see that his opponent is apparently going to go for a hatchery as well as a follow-up, so Denver is not quite all in, but he does need to deal significant amounts of damage. A couple of banelings already coming up. 2 drones is enough to 2 banelings right here is enough to one-shot... ooh, nice micro here. Is enough to one-shot the workers right here for Elazer. So how good is his micro going to be? He can lose like 5 drones, but any more than that is going to be a little bit troubling. I love this, actually. Zergling right here on hold position, ready to soak up one of those 2 baling hits. Spinecrawler finishes up. The queen is also done. Baling's over here just nibbling away at whatever they can. And so far, this is very nicely done here by Elazer. There's an Evo chamber here as well that he probably wants to cancel, because otherwise it's going to block his gas income. Although I guess he's just really concerned with defending for now. 2 more balings are coming up. So at this point, it's 18 versus 13 workers in favor of the blue Zerg. However, it's very easy to accidentally make a mistake. So far, it's been pretty much flawless here for Elazer. Okay, a couple of drones trying to get... Oh my god, okay. Alright. So, a couple of the balings right there tried to get into the mineral line, and it looks like they managed to. The Zerglings right here trying to finish the job as well that one of those balings started. 10 drones here in total, and now all of a sudden, this is an advantage right here for Denver. Obviously, Denver has an expansion done. He's going to be able to transition out of this pretty smoothly as well towards either roaches or really whatever he likes. There's not really any limitations to what he can do right now. And he can just play this as if it's a normal game. Obviously, Elazer doesn't have zergling speed here either, so it's not like he can really follow it up with anything aggressively. He's just going to have to expand behind this. He's going to have 3 queens, so at the very least, any sort of like follow-up aggression here from Denver should be relatively easily avoided, especially, you know, when the Spinecrawler gets enough creep to go to the low ground as well. I don't think there's a whole lot Denver can do, but this is now definitely a match where Denver is in full control. Interestingly enough, I haven't really casted a lot of Denver on my YouTube channel in the past, but a couple of days ago, I featured him in a game as well against Gung Fu Banda. In case you're interested, I'll go ahead and post a link to that game down below in the description of this video, so you can watch it after this match is done. But, there's no denying that the man has been playing some fun StarCraft 2. I mean, he's not doing it just for us. He probably is just trying to win, but, there's no denying that it's, yeah, it's been exciting to see this man play. The 13-12, though. I mean, not a very uncommon strategy, right? We see this all the time. By the way, the Spinecrawler, in the meantime, getting rid of that Evo chamber. Just to make the mining here of that gas a little bit more efficient. I guess that's, technically speaking, one more drone down the drain, right? Because That Evo Chamber obviously cost a worker to produce and some minerals as well. Anyway, so Denver going for a very, very quick lair. I guess he scouted right there with his follow-up zerglings that there was no link speed here for Elazer whatsoever. He saw that Elazer did make a baneling nest, so that's something. So he already kind of knew that there probably wasn't going to be link speed anytime soon. But this is a pretty greedy follow-up from Denver once again. If this would have been an all-out link bane assault, I think it would have been in some trouble. Now, it's 4 gases here in total. I think it has to be a spire, right? Pretty quick spire. After a 13-12, 5 minutes and 25 seconds on that spire. Pretty quick. Already, though, Elazer hasn't scouted much. Okay, he's trying to get in right there with a slow link, but that's not going to happen. He hasn't scouted much, but I guess he has, you know, he has got enough experience against Denver to know that it's very likely that there's going to be Mutalisks as a follow-up as well. So he's already building a bunch of queens. Either that, or he can go for like a Nydus network on the other side of the map too. Look at this Overlord. Okay, I think that might be the plan. I mean, Denver sees this, so this Overlord right over here is trying to be sneaky. He's like, psst, you don't see me. You see nothing. Maybe not, I don't know. Sometimes we see the Overlord hiding over here, and then they can pop like a Nydus worm inside of the main base, because obviously you do need vision, but I'm assuming Denver knows as well that that is a very common follow-up right here in that predicament, I suppose, that Elazer is in right now. That's the first time I've ever used the word predicament in a StarCraft cast. I'm improving my vocabulary. How did I do, guys? Alright. So far, though, there's a lot of energy on these queens. We are on 6 queens. I mean, that Overlord is hiding in the back. Okay, it's actually going to morph into an Overseer. Already, though, Mutas are coming up. Denver, well, he knows that his opponent is very likely to go for a Nydus Worm follow-up, so he's just going to scout around with a bunch of Zerglings, make sure that his opponent is not going to be able to pop it down without him at the very least knowing. Mutas, though, just about to pop. +1 flyer upgrade is also coming up for Denver, so he's probably going to stick around on Mutas for quite some time. Already 9 of them are out, or, well, 9 of them are soon going to be out. And that means that, well, he's got full map control. Hello. Hello. Okay. The Changeling was just sitting there in the corner of the main base. I thought for a second it was going to be allowed. Regardless, though, Elazer is still going to go for a Nydus network here. Not entirely sure if I agree with that. I mean, I guess he has to do something. Zerglings over here. Not getting a whole lot of work done, but the roaches get spotted, and obviously these Zerglings over here, well, I mean, he may have not clicked on it, but he probably recognizes it. Well, now he sees for sure. He probably recognizes the structure size, so now the Nydus network is seen as well. Where exactly are we gonna Nydus, though? Because as far as I can tell, there's absolutely no vision here for Elazer whatsoever. Great map control right here by Denver, just making sure that his opponent can't really go many places. Are the queens just gonna march? Really, Elazer? Man, this has become such a common strategy in all of the Zerg matchups. Once upon a time, we only saw this in Zerg versus Protoss. Ooh. These days, though, apparently, the Zerg players are happy to execute it against Terran, as we saw Scarlet doing yesterday. But apparently also against Zerg. So a queen march against Zerg. Good transfuses right there by Elazer. He's got a Nydus network, but he doesn't really need it, apparently. He's going to go for the carapace upgrade, roach speed as well. There's the Nydus network. Popping down a Nydus worm. I guess it's just for, like, reinforcements. Obviously, though, this is giving Denver a lot of time. 1 queen there gets picked off for free. 2nd queen taking a lot of damage. The Mutas do heal very quickly out of combat as well, so as long as he's not taking critical amounts of damage on them, it's fine. And so far, honestly, a lot of that energy is already gone. Roaches right now. Gotta try and go for the counterattack. Obviously, if you don't have that many Mutas remaining, though, killing the roaches is gonna be quite tricky as well. So Elazer is actually gonna be the one who gets to be a little bit aggressive. Zerglings right now, though, managed to get the wraparound right here on the queens. And that is some brilliant movement right there by Denver. Yeah, killing all those queens is absolutely fantastic. That being said, I mean, roaches, they still do take quite some time to clean up. They're now over at the 3rd base, but also inside of the natural expo. Can he at the very least kill this base? Oh, he's brought a couple of drones to this party as well to try and make some spores. Mutas obviously are very weak against spore crawlers. I mean, if it's just one of them, though, I guess it's gonna be fine. He's gonna have to use the Mutas right now, though, to clean up the roaches. So at the very least, this is buying a little bit of time for Elazer to finish up the drones that are currently morphing into spore crawlers. This is actually still quite a lot of damage, though, that Elazer is dealing. Worker-wise, we're talking 44 drones right here for Elazer versus 37 from Denver. And honestly, 3 or 4 spore crawlers, that's not something that these mutas can clean up. Oh my god, okay. Elazer, all of a sudden, creating a foothold right here on his opponent's side of the map. He actually needs to, like, spread creep, I guess, in the direction of the natural? He needs to spread creep so the spore crawlers as well as the queens. Yeah, there we go. Can actually go down. I like this too. Putting a tumor in where that expansion was located, or where that expansion was located rather earlier. It's pretty clever, because even if this gets broken, then Denver is not going to be evil. He's not going to be able to easily expand in that exact same location once again. Denver, though, already expanding towards the triangle base instead. Zerglings patrolling inside of the main base to pick up any sort of Nydus worms that might be popping up over there. And it looks like, finally, Denver is going to try and go for some counterattack aggression. But, I mean, just a handful of mutas. There's already spores inside of the main, or, yeah, there's 2 of them. Still trying to be as annoying as possible. Killing a couple drones here would actually be really nice, but there's a lot of things that are happening right now on the other side of the map as well. Ravagers actually seem to be getting surrounded here a little bit. Alright. The muta count is growing, though. So we're currently at 20 mutas. 3 more coming up. Denver hasn't really spent his gas on anything but mutas here in a long time. So these mutas, especially with +2, are going to pack a punch. It's going to be an interesting fight right here between the queens, the spore crawlers, and then also those mutalisks. Okay, queens popping in and out of Nydus worms just to try and deflect as much of this army as possible. Spore coming from the main base. Trying to make sure that the 4 mutas that are over here are not going to be able to deal critical amounts of damage. Nice little bit of micro right there by Denver. While simultaneously also microing his army at home. Queens a little bit too far forward. Okay, and one of them goes down. So, resource lost-wise, this is actually a surprisingly even game at this point. Elazer, economically speaking, is actually also fine. Even though it's technically 2 versus 3 base, I mean, his main is going to run out pretty soon. So, yeah, fine. I'm not 100% sure if that counts, but there's no denying that he's not super dead at the very least. Spore crawlers cannot burrow right here on ramps, so the creep has to be down before the spores can actually move down towards the low ground. So Denver is trying to deny the creep as much as possible. Zerglings right now, though, going in for a counterattack. Looks like the units right here in the natural of Elazer were sleeping on the job for just a little bit. If they can clean up the spore crawlers, obviously, that would be huge too, because then all of a sudden the Zerg player red can just go for an all-out counterattack. Queens right here transfusing whatever they can. A couple more drones are going down. 8 drones all of a sudden, though. And now all of a sudden... Okay, well, now Elazer is in a lot of trouble. This Zergling run by here was really good. Maybe just making a full wall off over here is the better choice, right? Because you don't really need to leave your base anymore anyway. If you're Elazer, that is. You just leave through the Nydus worm. 6 infestors are coming up, though. So even though Elazer has lost a lot of workers... I mean, 1 fungal growth. So the infestors have a skill called fungal growth that allows them to root units in place, or like slow units in place. It does hit mutalisks. And you can imagine, like, 1 area of effect spell right there on those mutas would be an absolute disaster. There's now enough mutas, though, to start dealing damage to those spores pretty effectively. Infestors, by the way, do not have energy right after they spawn for a fungal. I mean, not without the pathogen glands upgrade, so they're gonna have to idle over there for a little while. I don't think Denver has seen them yet at this point. He needs to be extremely cautious. If these infestors go unscouted, they land a fungal, then all of a sudden the queens and, well, follow-up fungal growths can definitely become a bit of a problem. There is not enough energy just yet. I think he's seen them right now. Yeah, he has. So Denver knows that his opponent is at the very least looking to land a fungal. Once again, Zerglings are going to go into the natural expo. Straight into the main base as well. Spinecrawler here is apparently what is going to try and defend against this. Elazer doesn't really need a lot of workers, though. Oh my god, I didn't miss anything. I did not. Zerglings are going in the other side of the map. But let us just look at the mutalisks. Alright, let us just look at the mutas over here just to make sure that everything is a-okay with them. I wonder what will happen. Professional YouTuber, by the way. Right, so Zerglings are dealing damage on the other side of the map, but who cares about those? This is the moment, apparently, where indeed the infestors are moving forward. Fungal growth right here on those mutalisks. They are going to take a lot of damage. Okay, nice splits as well, though, by Denver, trying to keep as much of this army alive. Roaches are now streaming into the natural expo. Zerglings are taken care of on the other side of the map. Looks like the roaches, though, don't want to dive too deep because that is still a lot of mutas. This now opened up the opportunity, though, for the spore crawlers to waddle forward. There's creep on the low ground right now, but they do need a little bit of time to burrow as well. Nice targeting here once again by Denver, trying to get rid of those spores before they can get into position. All right, not a lot of energy here anymore on these infestors, but obviously the infestors are going to accumulate more of it as the game progresses. Denver only at 22 mutas right now. He's lost quite a few. Yeah, he's lost 30. Okay, quite a few is maybe an understatement. 38 of them end up going down. That creep tumor here is going to move forward to try and allow those spores to get a little bit more maneuverability. Okay, good transfuses there as well. Elazer, though, losing a spore again. Nydus worm is coming up. It's going to bring some more reinforcements. Is there enough, though, for Elazer to actually hold on? I mean, looks like most of the spores are taken care of. 75 energy, though. Or, though, is what the skill cost, if I'm not mistaken. So he should have enough right now for a Fungal? Or is... Yeah, no, he does have enough. Fungal! Fungal! There it is! Fungal! If you can chain Fungal, it's incredibly powerful, obviously. At the very least, these mutas are very preoccupied right now, so the roaches are going to be able to go into the natural expo right here of Denver. Denver is going to take forever to try and kill this. 10 workers end up going down, and that's not the last of it. Only 17 drones are remaining on the other side of the map. Elazer hasn't really been mining much for quite some time. But he's got a strong army, and he's still adding on more queens. Alright. Yeah, I think a full wall-in over here would have been really nice. Would have made things a little bit easier. Not enough energy. Oh, we have a little bit of, wow, Nydus worm micro, where he's popping weakened units inside of the Nydus worm to try and keep him alive. That's one way of doing it, I suppose. I think one more set of fungals, though, can definitely change everything. 2 more infestors coming up for Elazer. Okay, natural expo. In a little bit of trouble. Denver, though, is mining over here, right? And this is where a lot of... Well, a lot of economy is being had. I wonder if Elazer can push in that direction, but the creep is going to take a little bit to connect in that direction, so we'll see. Okay, one creep tumor right there of Elazer spreading towards his opponent's natural. Another one going towards the third. Queens, actually, though, are being stopped right here by a bunch of zerglings. I kind of like it. There is enough energy, once again, on these infestors, if I'm not mistaken, or at the very least, very, very soon. Nydus worm in the back. Will be picked off. New worm will be made, though. At the same time, natural expo there was killed by the roaches. Mutas, though, now once again taking a fungal to the face. Is there enough for Elazer to actually clean all of this up? He's trying to transfuse whatever he can, maybe a little bit too quick on that last fungal growth, and the mutas just barely managed to get away. He double fungaled there for a little bit. The attacks do not stack. Oh my god, he actually could have killed all of those mutas, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, this did buy a little bit of time for the spores to move on over in this direction. Roach is also moving on over. Queens, though, in a lot of trouble, and infestors need to go, I think, oh my god, into the worm if they want to stay alive. Instead, I guess they're going to hang out over at the spore crawlers that have just been rooted. Third base of the Zerg player in red completely abandoned. But, there's still mutas out. 65 mutas have gone down in 17 minutes and 45 seconds. 2 spore crawlers right next to each other. Little bit of mining here still for Elazer. Very little, though. He's running very low on resources. A couple of Zerglings going in for what seems to be a counterattack as well. You can barely even afford a Nydus worm at this point, which is pretty cheap. Another infestor gets picked off there as well. Alright. Drones. Oh, don't... Yeah, okay, don't bow your own units. Drones running away from the roaches. It looks like Elazer is thinking about giving up this aggression altogether, but that does mean, though, that these units are incredibly exposed. I think going home by walking is probably not the way to go. They may have, like, 6 legs each. Maybe infestors have more, I'm not exactly sure, but... That seemed a little bit dangerous. I think maybe saving up some resources to go for a Nydus worm as, like, a one-way trip would be okay. Spore crawler still burrowing over here. Oh, here it is what I was, this is what I was talking about. That spore crawler... It's being blocked by a creep tumor. Still fungals available here as well inside of the natural of Elazer, though. It's gotta be so careful. Alright. Roach Warren will go down. Elazer doesn't really have the money anymore for anything, though, so... Yeah, he's got a bunch of gas, so he's using that gas income right now to make more infestors! Fungal growth! Once again, really massive fungal growth! Does he have enough to keep chaining, though? I think you need like 5 or 6 of those fungals for it to be really effective. So again, a couple of mutas end up going down, but the majority of these flippy flappies will just be able to get on out of there. Denver, though, doesn't really have any mining. He's long-distance mining his own natural expo. He tried going for a hatchery over there, but he couldn't. I guess he's gonna try and build like a... Yeah, a spore... Or, sorry, he's gonna try and build a hatchery over at the previously acquired third. Elazer can't really expend anywhere, because these mutas are gonna destroy it whenever, like, any of these units move away. But that's still an awful lot of infestors. I wonder if it's almost too many at this point. How many infestors died? 9 of them in total. I think a lot of those could have been prevented. 68 mutas. Almost nice. Alright. Denver apparently had to smash his piggy bank right there, but it looks like he could afford a spore crawler. Or, sorry, a spore crawler, an infestor right here for detection. For what it's worth, a spore crawler is also detection. I'll take it. Alright, so he's getting rid of that creep on the other side of the map, and it's actually huge. This is strange. A drone and a zergling working together to kill a spore crawler. After the 13-12, this turned into such an epic game. There's so many infestors right now, by the way. Definitely enough for a chain fungal. Elazer taking a new base. Trying to keep this alive. I guess with the infestors, yeah, having this much energy, it's something he can do. Denver now reacquiring his old base as well. Couple of roaches, though. Alright. There's only a handful of workers for both of these players. I feel like Burrow would have been so good as well for Elazer here. I think Burrow would have been fantastic, but... Obviously, in the heat of battle, it's very easy to make those recommendations, but to execute is very different. Alright. This looks like a draw to me, says Denver. Where have I heard this before? I don't think it is, though, is it? A couple of days ago, I don't want to spoil the previous game, but it's not ZVP. Yeah, you should go check out the other game that I casted featuring Denver a couple days ago. Again, link is down below. It's not CVP, says Elazer, so it's not Zerg versus Protoss. Oh, Fungal! No, I don't think this is a draw. Both players were still doing a little bit of mining. Two of the mutas end up going down. Denver has got a new base. I think he's just stressed out, man. He's like, you know what? Let's just go to a draw and do this again. How is this a draw? It's not a draw by any means. They're both still mining. Elazer seems to be comfortable enough. Fungal! 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 Slowly but surely, this cast is becoming me just shouting noises and... But Fungal! Oh my god, Fungal! See, I should have kept shouting. Is Elazer actually doing this? Oh my god! I think he's doing it! Oh my god! What a game! I felt like this game was over at like the 4-minute mark, but... that was sick.